Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here or watching the recording. And thank you for coming to our COSI workshop. We have Meera Layton here as our guest speaker, and I'll go ahead and give it over to her to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Meera, she, her, and I am the case manager for our PAT Cares team. And PAT Cares is really it stands for Campus Assessment, Resources, Evaluation, and Support. And really it's a free service for all students. Anyone can refer anyone to PAT Cares, and we just get you connected to on and off campus resources. So I was invited today specifically to talk about burnout. And so of course I thought about how CARES referrals work, and I wanted to share that with you all. And then I wanted to share some information about one of our most important campus resources. I don't work in the counseling center, but I work really closely with our Wolfpack Counseling Center, so I wanted to share. I don't expect you to turn on your cameras because it's like we're all pretty zoomed out. But if you don't mind, like just telling me your names and maybe what you're studying or what your dream job would be. I don't know. Give me an idea of who I'm talking to. Let's start with Haley.
You just said my name, so obviously I'm Haley. And currently I'm a senior in biology, and I plan to go to med school. So I guess that's kind of what the dream job would be, is doctor.
Yes, awesome, great, thank you. Let's go to Jessica.
Okay, so I'm Jessica, and I'm majoring in nursing right now, and I'm in the nursing program at CSU, and it's my junior year.
Awesome. So health majors, thank you. Kyler?
I'm Kyler, and I'm a senior in the nursing program, and of course my dream job is to become a nurse. So
a lot of health majors, good. Dakota? Business management major. You want to open your own business, very cool. And it's okay that your microphone is not working. I'm glad that you can hear me and still engage via the chat. Jalen?
Hi, I'm Jalen, and I'm a senior in the nursing program, and I want to go into maybe pediatrics.
Aw. I have a real big heart for all healthcare workers, but especially pediatric nurses, because pediatric nurses saved my kid's life on countless occasions. So I appreciate that. And then
nice.
Uvia, correct me if I'm saying your name incorrectly.
No, you're good. I'm in health science right now. Yeah.
More health sciences. And I think Kaylee. That's okay. Kaylee's business management major and a senior. Welcome, thank you. And Tamara?
Yes, this is Tamara. I am a social work major. I'm in my senior year, and I think my dream job, I'm not 100% sure where exactly I'm going to end up in this career, but I think advocating for women, or maybe therapy work with women who are working to overcome trauma.
Overcome trauma is what I think I heard. You broke up a little bit, but I think I gotcha. And
Yes.
you'll
So sorry, I just left work. I'm in between work and school, so I apologize. I am driving.
That's totally okay. And you'll probably a lot of what I'm saying will probably resonate with you a lot because of your studies and the work that you're going to be doing. So thank you so much, everyone. I'll go ahead and share my screen. Well, I'll go ahead and get my screen set up. Well, I hope I can share my screen.
You should have access to share.
I do, it's me.
Okay.
I'm dumb.
Just making sure I didn't
We've
crash.
done Zoom for a long time, and here I am not understanding how to do Zoom.
There we go.
Okay, do you see
Started.
my screen?
Yes.
All right, so advocacy and support. So Bonnie Fruland is my supervisor. She's Assistant Dean of Support and Advocacy. And like I said, I do case management for our Pat Cares team. So first I'm going to talk to you about Pat Cares, then I'll talk to you about some resources. And let's see if it will actually, there we go. I want to go backwards, sorry. I would like to know what you all feel is burning students out right now. Like, what are the biggest challenges that students are facing? Not necessarily yourself, maybe things that you've heard from peers, friends, some maybe national trends you're seeing. You can speak for yourself or speak for anyone else, but don't use names. You could add it to the chat. You could say it out loud. What's burning people out right now?
This is Tamara, and hopefully you guys can hear me. I know myself and many of my fellow students in our senior year are balancing internships, working full-time. A lot of us are older students, so taking care of kiddos on top of all of our schoolwork. So it's a combination of all of it for me and my immediate peer group.
Yeah, and I'm seeing that echoed in the chat too. Workload, having to balance working full-time and do full-time school. Jalen's adding lack of motivation post-COVID and quarantine for sure. We're seeing a lot of that as a national trend as well. That mental load, the workload, that work-life balance that actually doesn't exist. And especially when you're a student, because you're balancing work and school and life, it can feel like so much. Thank you all for engaging in the chat. Dakota's saying all the quizzes and exams we have for each class, that is a very stringent schedule. Dakota, I think that you said that you're a nursing major or you want to be a doctor. But in that field, yeah, it's very heavy duty and you have to keep your grades really high. Time management when there's a lot to do. Thanks, Kaylee. I agree. I struggle with that myself too. And just prioritizing things. So first, I want to say that it's amazing, the self-awareness of sometimes people are just like, I feel stressed and I feel overwhelmed and I don't necessarily know why. You all are mentioning some pretty specific things. And when you're able to pinpoint the specific things that are a challenge, I'm not saying that it is easy to resolve it. I'm saying that when you're able to identify that, you're more likely to be able to find helpful resources because it's more specific. So I appreciate that engagement and I appreciate you sharing. I want to show you all on my screen things that we've been seeing. And Jalen mentioned like the impact. It's not just what's happening right now, but it's an ongoing impact from what's been occurring from the past few years has been really hard, and it's been hard to navigate. It's been hard to work through. So this is what we've been seeing in Pat Cares, and I will explain more about what Pat Cares is. You're not just like, okay, where's this information coming from? What we saw in 2019 and 2020, that's when we shut down the school. So we saw a lot of remote instruction concerns. We don't see as much of that right now, but we do see students with academic concern across the board. So if you feel like you are facing academic concerns, just know that you're not alone if you're struggling in that and struggling with the balance. We saw it's not here every year. These are just the top things that get referred to the CARES team. So this is not an all-inclusive list. This is not exhaustive at all. You'll see that there's suicidal ideation, self-disclosed mental health concern, referral suspected mental health concern. I'm not gonna say suicidal ideation is normal, but And if you have experienced that, just know that you're not alone and that there are resources on campus to help. I'll put up my contact information here if you would like to meet and or discuss your resources further. I will very openly disclose that I myself had suicidal ideation too. It takes a lot to ask for help, especially I find that students on scholarships especially are very used to being self-efficient. And so they struggle to ask for help. I can't see if you're nodding your heads or not, but I imagine some of you are. That it is hard to ask for help when you need it. And so I appreciate hearing more about the COSI program and what's available to you, because it's a struggle. So if you are struggling with your mental health, let's get you connected to some resources. Financial duress has been big. We see a lot of students with housing and housing concerns. They're displaced, they're homeless. A lot of folks that are grieving the death of a loved one, or even just the death of someone that they knew or maybe didn't know that well, and it just hits them really hard, because that feeling of mortality can really, it make a lot of emotions come out, and that could be a struggle to handle. Some other things that we have seen growing concerns about is domestic violence. That's happening nationally too. When people were stuck at home, some of them were stuck with people that were abusive to them. Transportation, there's students that are, they had a car, their car broke down, their car got stolen, their car is in need of work. AOD stands for alcohol and other drugs. So people struggle with addiction. There's students that struggle with addiction and need support with that. Disordered eating has been a manifestation of a lot of the stressors and people seeking out control. And then sometimes there's folks that are non-students that we get referrals for too. So these are folks that are wanting to be students that aren't yet. And I know that this sounds like heavy duty, and maybe some of these things you relate to, but all to say, wow, no wonder people are feeling burnt out, and no wonder people are feeling overwhelmed, because students especially are dealing with so much. So did anyone want to say anything about this list or have any questions? Feel free to interrupt me at any time too. Okay, so CARES, CARES is a team, like I had talked about, and we want to combat those things. We want to help people find some balance. We want to get people connected to resources. So our priority is the health, safety, and welfare of the campus community. And we also want to be sure that folks aren't posing a threat to themselves, like they're not going to harm themselves, hurt themselves, or pose a threat to others on campus, because you might find, I'm pretty sure this doesn't include you all. You all sound like very, like you have your goals lined up, and you all are, I don't know what I'm trying to say here. What I'm trying to say is that what CARES is for is if you have a concern for someone and you think that they might hurt themselves or someone else based on all of the stressors that they are managing, or for yourself, I'm sorry that phone's just going to ring. I need to let it go to voicemail. We want you to refer to CARES, so that way we can help out as much as we can. So I showed you that list of the top things that we've been seeing that are referred to CARES, but really, if you see something, say something. And this goes for yourself too. We receive referrals from students for themselves. So we have referrals from faculty and staff that refer students to CARES. We also have students that refer their friends to CARES, but we have a lot of students that are actually starting to refer themselves to CARES if they need help with something. And it sounds like with that self-awareness of knowing like the things that are a struggle to students right now, I expect that you all are also self-aware for what you all need. So if you all needed to refer yourself to CARES, you could too. This is also not an exhaustive list of reasons to refer to CARES. Sometimes I think that I have seen nearly everything and then something else pops up and I'm like, wow, that's a new one. And then I get to go look for resources that will help that I haven't looked for before. So I wouldn't want anyone to feel like that they can't reach out or think like, oh, no one can help me with this. Even if we can't help with a specific issue, we can help with the things that maybe stem from that issue. So we can't always just give a student free housing if a student is homeless, but we can get that student food, and we can get that student clothing, and we can get the student some of their supplies that they need for school, and ultimately we can refer them to housing resources too. So never feel like there's no hope. There is likely something that can help. Okay, so this is our team of folks. So the CARES team that is kind of like responding to these referrals that we get, it's really based on a lot of campus services, especially within student affairs. And so team members provide a specific lens as to what they can support a student with. So sometimes I'll get a referral for someone who's really struggling in classes. And when I talk to them, I find out that they think they might have an undiagnosed learning disability. That's not my world. I can connect them to the Disability Resource and Support Center, but I'm not going to assist that student all by myself. I love having a team that I can work with, so that way we can respond to the most challenges as possible. So this list here includes people like people at the counseling center, people in residence life and housing who offer emergency housing to students, student conduct and community standards. That's because sometimes a student is reported to student conduct for violating a policy. Like we had a student who kind of had an outburst in class and it really freaked out their professors. But what we found out is that the student was actually caring for their mother who was sick. And then they had, it wasn't quite alcohol addiction yet, but they were struggling with alcohol. And like this outburst didn't occur just because they were a threatening and harmful student. This outburst occurred because they were overwhelmed by their lives in that moment. So then we coordinate with student conduct and we kind of do the two processes side by side. So that way we are handling the behavior, but also getting the student the support that they need. The sheriff's office is part of our team, which is really helpful because they can give us a lens on when something is elevated. The Military Veterans Success Center, our vets and service folks, they enjoy getting like a specific type of help. I'm not a veteran. I don't have any family that has served. It's really hard for me to understand that life because I haven't lived it. So being able to connect them with Laura Barella in that office is really great. Health education and promotion, lots of knowledge there about alcohol and other drugs. And then these are labeled as like core, inner, middle, outer. So it kind of is like radiating from a central team. And then we reach out as necessary to pull in more support. I have been to meetings with students. So students that need help communicating with their professors, like let's say you're overwhelmed, but you're not overwhelmed to the point that you're going to drop out of school. You might just need some extra time to do your assignments. Maybe something has happened that really threw you off schedule. You had a kid that was sick and they can't go to childcare when they're sick. And so you have to stay home with them and you miss school. I can help you reach out to your professors if that's something that you're not comfortable doing. Our professors are pretty caring. I've only ran into maybe one that has put up a stink about adding flexibility for a student, but it's sometimes scary to ask your professor that. And then I also have ways to kind of like ask them in a way that respects your privacy. So they don't need to know all of the details. Any questions, comments, concerns? Okay, the way that you refer yourself or someone else to CARES is you can scan this QR code, but I know that some of you are driving or on your phones. So if you want, you can just type in the link. The easiest way to find out how to submit a CARES referral is to go to the website and just search Pat CARES, and it will take you there. And this is what it looks like. So when you're submitting information about someone, I want to know your info too, because I want to be able to follow up with you if I have questions about if I need clarification, or maybe when you refer someone, you accidentally put their name in spelled incorrectly and it's pulling up maybe not the right student. I want to be able to reach out to you just to confirm and make sure everything is squared away, so that way we can get the student connected to the support that they need. Okay, so that is CARES in a nutshell. Usually when I do like a full-on CARES training, it goes for a very long time. So this was kind of like the crash course in that. Does anyone have questions about maybe a resource that you're interested in or that you've heard about that was not included in this mini presentation? Or if you have questions about a resource that I did show that you would like to know more about.
I don't, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, you can go ahead.
Okay. I'm don't know if you addressed this, but does the care center, is right, the care center or the wellness center, do you have like monthly therapy available, or is that something that you don't do?
Yeah, no, thanks, Haley. Thanks for asking that. I'm going to touch on that next. So the CARES team, we are the ones that respond to the referrals, and we can connect students to counseling. So the CARES, we don't have like a CARES center or a CARES office. It's basically me first, and I kind of like triage that before taking it to the team. So that way I'm only looping in the necessary people to support that student. But I will definitely talk more about mental and physical health specifically. So thank you for asking.
Okay, thank you so much.
Any other questions?
I was just gonna ask if you could email me that QR code after we're done.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
And if I forget to, just ask me again.
Okay.
Kaylee, I see your hand. Oh, I probably need to go look at the chat, don't I? Kaylee, did you mean to raise your hand? I know you don't have audio, but if you have a question, go ahead and type it in the chat and I'll be sure to get to it. Or if you all have like a question that you think people will benefit from, but you don't want to ask in the chat or ask out loud, just send it to me in a direct message, and I'll see the red writing there, so I won't say who you are, and I could just ask it anonymously and answer it that way. Okay, so one of our best resources on campus that I refer every student to, no matter what they were referred to me for. So they may have been referred to me for like an academic concern, or they may have been referred because they're in need of food. I will always offer connection to the counseling center, no matter what the referral is. So we call it the Wolfpack Wellness Center. So Haley, I hope that this answers your question. And if I don't, then call me out on it after I speak about this. So the Wolfpack Wellness Center, that's a full center. So within that center includes Sarah Skinner, who does health education and promotion, which includes alcohol and other drug information. Our counseling center, our health center, And our health center provides a lot of the things that you would get from a primary care physician. So we have a lot of students that are residential students that stay on campus that are maybe here from out of state, and they need connection. They don't have a primary care physician here. They can go get checkups at the health wellness center. And then they provide, like I've gone there to get my blood tested, and your student fees pay for that. If there's anything additional, they tell you up front, like if they need to refer you somewhere or do a special kind of test that requires a copay, they'll let you know that. Whoops.
Do you
There
know
we
if they
go.
work with insurance?
Yes, they do.
Oh,
So they'll take your insurance card. They can also help with, and I can help with this as well. So some students don't have health insurance and they want to apply for Medicaid. I can help with that, and they can help with that as well.
Oh, very cool.
And so all of the health centers are located in the Center for Integrated Health and Human Inquiry, the old psychology building, and they're on the bottom floor. And there's a picture here of the counseling center door. It's very private. So when you go in, no one's gonna, both sides. So like the health side, the counseling side, both are very private. And so you just walk through those doors. Sometimes you have to buzz in depending on what time of day it is, how many people are working in that center at the time. But that is where they're located, 174, that main floor. So the counseling center specifically, they're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. There's always someone in the office. And the cool thing about our counseling center is that they offer an after hours call service as well. So when I am meeting with a student who might be expressing suicidal ideation, and when they meet with the counseling center and we create this safety plan for them, it often includes that new 988 number, which used to be the suicide hotline, which was a 1-800 number. 988, very easy to dial. But then also I have them save the number for the counseling center in their phone. And the phone number is right there for you all to save as well if you would like to, 719-549-2838. And so after hours, when no one's in the office, it actually goes to a program which was set up called Protocol. And so you will be connected directly to a licensed clinician, and they leave notes for our counseling center. So that way, when someone does come to the office, they can call you the next day to get you scheduled and help you see a counselor. So all of the counselors there are licensed clinicians. They each have their own expertise. So when you call to make an appointment, or when you stop by to make an appointment, they'll ask you. Kaylee works at the front desk and she's amazing. So Kaylee will usually ask you some questions to get to know your situation a little bit better, so that way you can connect with the counselor. So even though I work closely with the counseling center and we have a representative from the counseling center on our PAT Cares team, we do different things. So I am not clinical. I am also a mandatory reporter. So if someone comes to me and discloses that they were sexually assaulted, that's something that I need to share with the Title IX office. And it's totally up to a student whether or not they want to engage in that process, but that's something I have to share. Our counseling center, though, they're a confidential resource. And so when I'm meeting with a student and they're like nervous to tell me something, and I kind of like have an inkling that they're going to go that route with me and disclose sexual assault, I'll tell them like, hey, I can also connect you with the counseling center. They're a confidential resource. They are not required to share that with the Title IX office. The only time the counseling center must share with someone else is if it's an emergency, as far as if it involves child abuse, elder abuse, or homicidal ideation. Okay, I put my contact info here. I hope that answered your question, Haley. Let me know if it didn't. And we have I didn't talk about AccuDetox. So that's another thing that they do in the counseling centers. They do AccuDetox, which, has anyone here ever done that?
Yes, this is Tamara. I have done the AccuDetox along with EMDR therapy a few years ago. Both are very helpful.
Thank you. So AccuDetox, when I first heard about it, I was like, oh, that's a load of bull. Because basically it sounds like really hokey to me, like real hippy dippy. But I was having a meltdown one day and I was in the counseling center, and actually Marla was there and she's amazing. And she just like got out these essential oils and she did like the AccuDetox, which is it works on your pressure points. So they could actually do like acupuncture with little needles in your ears, or if you're not into that, they can do AccuDetox, which is it's like a seed that is held in place by a little piece of tape, and that can stay, it sounds gross, but it will stay in your ear up to like 5 days, and it just comes out when you're in the shower. Sounds gross that it's there for so long, but it's amazing. Like I truly feel like it helped. And I honestly was very skeptical until Marla kind of like loaded me up with essential oils and popped those things in my ears, and I felt really relieved. So I recommend it. I don't know. Tamara, is it something that you don't have to share, but is it something that you do often?
I haven't done it for a little while, but when I was in regular therapy sessions, I was doing it regularly at that time to help meet the needs that we had agreed upon at that time. And I did have numerous sessions done. They can do the little dots, like the little pressure point dots. And then some therapists, maybe not at CSUP, but other therapists can do the actual needles, so the actual acupuncture needles. So there's two different methods. Both are very similar. If you are very apprehensive to needles, if that's ever an option that you talk with a therapist that offers the needles, just request the dots. They're both highly effective.
Yeah, thanks so much for sharing that and sharing your experience. And they do both. And I agree, it's effective. And I see, and especially for the health sciences majors here, they used to do a thing where like right before sim lab, they would like go and sit outside of the lab, and like students would line up to like get their AccuDetox before they went in, so they could feel more like less stressed before their test. So the counseling center, like Tamara said, you can schedule these congruently, like you can schedule them together, go get your AccuDetox, and then they have like a quiet space in the counseling center, and then go do your therapy session. Your student fees are already paying for the counseling center, and so it's a really great resource that I think more people should probably take advantage of. As far as managing burnout, the counseling center is a great resource, but I also highly recommend meeting with whatever office that you connect with most on campus, where you can like get some mentorship and help in connecting you. So my office, and being part of the Pat Cares team, being the case manager for the team, I'm kind of a one-stop shop, but it doesn't mean that folks have to see me. So I've received referrals for students, and then I've sat with them and worked with them on time management. I've referred them to the counseling center, but then they might connect with someone like at the TRIO office that they feel really supported by. Or I have another student who just told me like he'd rather not meet with me because he really likes Laura Barella in the Military Veteran Success Center. And I mean, as long as a student, as long as you feel connected to someone on campus, and I mean, that can be, I don't even know if I'm going to say your name right. How have I not said your name? Ryan?
Really close, but it's actually Ryan.
Ryan. Thank you. And that could be Ryan for you. That could be, you know, that could be your success coach in the PAC Center. That could be Justin Hinneker in the Disability Resource Support Center. Reach out to, and chances are they're on the PAC Cares team. So if you reach out to someone and you're like, I just need help with whatever you need help with. Sorry, as I give everyone motion sickness. I just need help with whatever I need help with. If you're reaching out to someone on this list, or even someone not on this list, like I get referrals from coaches. I get referrals from Ryan and COSI advisors. Like it's a good way to get people connected and to mitigate the impacts of burnout. Questions? Comments? What are some things that you all do to combat burnout? Or if you've used any of the services that I talked about, or have utilized any offices and want to give them those offices a shout out.
I'd like to shout out Steve with Student Financial Services. He's great. He has a lot of experience and he's able to get students connected with things that they wouldn't be able to get connected with otherwise. And he's a great resource there.
Yes, Steve is amazing. I just set up a meeting between him, me, and a student today. Financial needs are really high up, and I mean that attributes to burnout because it's really hard to go to class when you're worried about paying your bills. Financial resources are very slim, but we do our best. Like, even if it just means like lightening the load a little bit, we might not be able to pay off someone's one student had like a $24,000 open bill. We can't pay that off, but we can try to manage and, offer food resources, help with textbooks, things like that. Through COSI. Textbooks through COSI.
Yes. Yeah, we were able to get a student a textbook for one of their classes.
Yeah, that was so good.
Yeah.
Good, Dakota. I hope you love it. I honestly was like, ugh, this is dumb, but it worked. So it was not dumb.
Oh.
I was corrected.
As long as it works, it's not dumb.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Meera, so much for putting on the PAC Cares workshop and giving us these great resources and letting us know how to contact you and how to put in a referral. That was really helpful.
Yeah, you're so welcome. I will try to remember to get this QR code to you. And I'll put my contact info up again. If there's something that you would like to talk about privately, or if you have any questions, give me a call or send me an email.
Cool. I'll go ahead and stop the recording for the online people.